Hello everyone, welcome back to Mobility Academy from the Flexibility Guy, Coach Elia. In today's video we are going to see a beautiful exercise to stretch your adductors muscles and more generally to improve your hips flexibility. But before I start, let me ask you to subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications so you'll never miss one of my next videos. With that said, let's start. This exercise is called the Tailor Pose, and maybe some of you have seen it in the past, but I'm sure you haven't seen it as I will demonstrate here. All you need is a couple of weights, a pair of yoga blocks, and a pillow. Okay, so let me show you how to do the Tailor Pose. You sit down on the floor with your back on a wall. Okay, now you bring your feet in front of your hips here. If you feel like a sensation of discomfort here under your feet, you can place a pillow here under your feet, and that's secret number one. Okay, so why we use the pillow. Now, secret number two, our aim here is to push our knees down towards the floor to stretch our adductors, and to do so we are going to place some yoga blocks under the knees to measure how far can we go into the stretch. Okay, so let's assume that here I keep my back against the wall, I relax my hips, I push my knees down, and I can reach this kind of flexibility here. Now, thanks to the yoga blocks, I can both measure how far can I go into the stretch, and also I can relax in the stretch, okay, because I have something under my knees and my muscles can relax better here because I can rest on something. Okay, that's really important. Okay, now secret number three, we are going to use some weights because you can push with your hands on your knees, but most of the times the only pressure of your hands, like, is it enough to apply a very good stretch on your adductors, which are really strong muscles. So that's why we're going to use some weights. Now, you place the weights on your knees like this, okay, and you let the weights push your knees down, and I mean rest on the yoga blocks. Okay, now you relax here, 8 to 10 breaths. You try to stretch your muscles and relax. You relax your adductors here. Then after 8 to 10 breaths, you can apply a Pnf contraction, which is a muscle contraction that will relax your muscles even more. To apply the Pnf here, you push your knees up against the weights and also against your hands. So you push down with your hands and you push up with your knees. Okay? You hold that contraction for 15 to 20 seconds, and you hold it. You don't want to like move the weight, you just want to hold it isometrically. Okay, 15 to 20 seconds. You hold that contraction 15 to 20, and then as you stop, you inhale, you pull your knees just a little bit up with your hands just to relax your adductors muscles. You exhale, and then you go again into the stretch. Okay, make sure that after the Pnf contraction, so when you stop the contraction, you take only 1 or 2 seconds to inhale, exhale, and get deeper into the stretch, because you want to like use the Pnf contraction to increase your level of flexibility. And the benefit of the Pnf contraction is that you contract the muscles after the Pnf contraction relax, and you can get deeper into the stretch, but only if it takes you like 1 or 2 seconds to get deeper. Okay, now there are two main ways to get deeper into this stretch. The first one is to move the yoga blocks out like this. Okay, and as you can see, I can spread my knees wide apart, and the other way is to turn the blocks, and as you can see here, I can get really deeper into the stretch. Now if you transition from here to here, maybe take your yoga blocks closer to the center so you can rest on them sooner, and then as you improve the stretch, you place them out, okay, under your knees. Now, as you can see, I can rest here and I can repeat the process. So I will stay here 8 to 10 breaths. And after 8 to 10 breaths, I can redo a Pnf contraction. So I will push up with my knees against the weights and my hands. So I push up, 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 15 to 20 seconds. And then I stop the contraction, I inhale, I lift my knees a little bit, exhale, and I try to get deeper. And as I get deeper, I move the yoga blocks out. Another 8 to 10 breaths, yeah? And then I can eventually show you the final result I want here in this position, which is driving my knees completely down towards the floor here. I want to touch the floor here, okay? So our final aim is to touch the floor with the knees here, okay? Okay, so this is how I like to perform the Tailor Pose, one of the best adductors stretches. Make sure to keep your back against the wall at all times during this stretch, even if like moving your butt slightly away from the wall is really common. Just make sure that you don't move all your back away from the floor. That's a mistake. But if you stay with the majority of your back against the wall and your butt is just slightly away from it, it's completely fine. Now, as I said, one of the best ways to gain range of motion here is to use the Pnf contractions, and of course the yoga blocks and the weights. Okay, so first the yoga blocks, then the weights, and then the Pnf contractions. Now you can make 1 to 3 Pnf contractions or 15 to 20 seconds. As you do the Pnf contraction, you first remain in the stretch, you try to relax there, 8 to 10 breaths. Then when you want to do a Pnf contraction, you push up with your knees against the weights and your hands resistance, okay, for 15 to 20 seconds. Then you stop, you inhale, you decrease a little bit the stretch, exhale, and as you exhale, you try to get deeper. Also 1 centimeter is completely fine. Just try to get a little bit deeper, okay, moving your yoga blocks slightly out. That's the sense of progression I want here. So make sure to measure how far can you go into the stretch, and you can do it with the yoga blocks under your knees, because you can measure how far you can go into the stretch, okay? Does it make sense? So that's it for the Tailor Pose. So guys, that's all for the Tailor Pose, a beautiful exercise to stretch your adductors muscles, to improve your hips flexibility, and also to achieve harder stretching positions like the side split or the pancake. I used it in the past to achieve my side split and to achieve the pancake and to improve my hips flexibility. So I think that this is a really important exercise to master. If you enjoyed the explanations, please hit that like button or leave me a comment if you have any further questions. With that said, that's all from the flexibility guy, Coach Elia. Have a nice stretch.